Alright, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, Day 109. Orthoplex 64 sends a wave. You missed yesterday, if I recall correctly. Alright. So, for the typical intro, everything's the same on the renovation front, still just coasting until the next hearing. And last night we started work on a utility function to expand change regions, which is one of the deals with one of the weird edge cases with the multi-column character layer merging. So I made made that work for the two simplest cases. So tonight we'll continue working on the more complex cases. Something that most weekend evenings cause me to miss. Oh, actually, what is today? It was today, Monday? I guess. Oh, okay. It was a weekend, that's why. Makes sense. That's good. You can get out and touch grass, as they say. It's probably not healthy to watch streamers all the time. Let's see. All right, the cast number is fixed. Test case passes. So the next case will have two layers. He might not want to reveal his personal business. Might be a secret or a top secret activity. So we'll put one is offset by 1 character. did your optimizations work? That's the last thing I remember you doing. So I guess there's a bunch of things. Some of the stuff refactoring, this overall refactoring work I've been working on for 20 plus days now is making the character merging process simplify it, unify it, make it faster, and also correct a bunch of bugs, and make the model a bit stronger. So I think the model has worked of like having these like change regions. I haven't yet 100% proven that my algorithm for the multi-column character merging actually works, because I haven't really tested a lot of cases. I think it does in what I've done stepping through it, but before I can actually really test it rigorously, I need the test cases to even be able to to be able to check for the correctness in the first place. Yeah, I think well, in the process of like merging layers together, there's actually eventually I'm going to change the name of this function, this merge non-null characters, down onto that function. I plan to eventually, once this is finished and all working with test cases, I'm going to rename that function to merge changes, and the merge changes function, I'm going to delete this entire function if all goes well. And also I'm going to delete this function, get rid of that, and there's only going to be one merge function, which is going to be this function. And this covers the most abstract case. So it'll basically just so the merge changes function, with that you can only merge one layer, and there's like a ton of edge cases for stuff like when I want to inherit the background colors from like the layer below. Like for example, with the happy face emoji, I want to be able to write the happy face emoji and have it merge down and to inherit whatever background colors below it. And so corner cases like that, the behavior for that, I had 6 different merge functions before. Now I'm down to 2. So we got that one and the merge non-null characters down. Eventually, I'll change this one just to the merge changes function, and then every instance of that merge changes should have identical behavior to this one. And then once that's all done, then I can start. Then I'll probably profile it a bit more, and well, I don't know if I'll even bother optimizing more. But if it is necessary to optimize, that way I'll have one single code path where all of the layer merging goes through this, and so if I make it faster, there'll be like 6 different places that will benefit from that optimization as opposed to just one. And this function is actually used currently. So I do like merge null. Let's see. So in user interface frame. Yeah, so whenever I write anything, it calls the merge changes function. The other one that I plan to delete. So that happens locally in a thread. And in the eventual final implementation, this will be I'll basically just change that to false, so that way that'll set the trust the change flags to false. So locally in a thread, it will recalculate the change flags because the thread knows internally if there's been a change to that frame. And in the onFinalize frame method, so this is like when when a thread has finished writing, and when it's finished, like rendering an update or something into its local buffer, it then sends a message to the console writer thread, and then the console writer thread will just trust whatever the change flags are because they're supposed to be already calculated and correct. So that's one more use of the merge changes function. So this thread takes messages with a list of updates to all the different to all the different layers, on-screen layers. And every frame can write to individual different layers, some of which will have transparency and some don't. So I guess generally, to answer your question, I think it is pretty decently fast. One of the main optimizations I'm going to be able to do in the screen layer class is these arrays of like color codes and widths and stuff. I'm going to I basically just kind of like delete those, and I can turn those into circular buffers. Those I can use that 3D circular buffer class. So that way, as I'm moving, and then I'm going to use that specifically for the map area. So when I move through the map area, I can just translate that and calculate the it can just like shift what's already calculated in an array, and then as it's doing that, it can calculate the change flags instead of what it currently does, which is it re-renders that every time you move. What got you into coding? I got into it when I was 14 or so. I guess I just knew it was a thing that you could do. I think I remember playing Age of Empires when I was making these like custom scenarios and stuff with like conditions and events and stuff, and I knew that was something to do, something similar to programming. Or was like had similarities to programming, and I used to spend a lot of time making the scenarios, but then never actually play them. And then eventually I started messing around with like QBasic and stuff back in the day. When I thought about coming to university, I thought about doing pure math, but then I decided software engineering is there's probably more jobs in software. That's not what I expected. Oh, that's why. This is test 3. Sleepy Slums says, "Hello, how are you, sir? I'm not too bad. Making progress on the terminal-based video game." Keep it up. Thank you. Sleepy Slums sends $2.99 and sends a... Is that an apple with cherries? Neat. Thank you very much. Dancing fruit. Thank you. That might work. All right, that makes sense. That doesn't find it because It needs to cycle through all layers. Don't forget to like the stream. We got 2 likes so far. And our test case has just passed. Excellent. You're drinking milk. Be right back. Excellent. Milk builds strong bones. At least that's what we learned in school. I don't know if that's true. Oh, we got 3 now. 3 likes. Are you a Star Trek fan? The original Star Trek: The Next Generation. I watched that. That was good back in the day. Voyager was. I remember that being good, at least when I was a kid. I actually don't even. It's been so long since I watched that. I barely remember any of it. Right, that should solve it in the general case. Oh, there's an infinite loop, I think. Did you try to do some freelance work on Upwork? Back in the day, I looked into those freelancing sites, and I thought about trying them out a number of times, but the reviews were always just sounded so terrible, and I also came to learn that like the real, like where the margins are, where most of the money is made, is not actually going out and building and forging the relationship yourself, because that's because ultimately, if there's a middleman between you and the client, and like the hard work is just getting the client. So I figured if I was going to succeed in bootstrapping the business that way, I'd have to go meet my own clients, and also, I mean, I tried to focus on local stuff where I could actually meet the people and whatnot, because otherwise you're kind of, the question is, what's my competitive advantage? If there's people in India who can do it for a fraction of the cost, like purely remotely, and then I guess of course like you have to rethink all this even more today, because I'm sure there's people using AI to do a lot of that stuff now. That was like not even a thing at all back when I was trying the consulting business. That's why. All right, test case passes. Four likes. I guess we met the like goal. I think that test is actually not correct. Gaming with challenge 8751. It says hello. How's it going? Bro? What's up? You're so cool. Shout out my name, please. I did say your name. Your name is Gaming with Challenge 8751. Thank you. No problem. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Refixing bugs. Currently, I'm working on a rather, I guess, large, I don't know, refactoring arc, or so I have a whole bunch of different. I had like 6 different functions for merging together layers and writing to the screen, and I'm working on. I've consolidated those. Now I have 2 merge functions. I wanted to get it down to 1. And I also want to fix bugs that it had and also make it more efficient. And what the challenging case is to get it to work in the presence of multi-column characters. It is C++. Actually, it's Java. I'm a beginner. Hope I'll learn from you. You might, I guess. It depends. Sometimes just watching someone else do stuff, you can learn stuff. What are you coding? I'm currently coding a terminal-based video game. And I'm working on some test cases to fix issues with the screen layer merging. Java, you're developing games. Maybe this project is complex. Eventually, it'll probably be considered complex. I think Java is a decent language for stuff that's intended to become a large project. Letter says, "Hello, Robert Elder, software and team. How's it going?" How's everyone doing? I'm pretty good. It was another reasonably productive day. I worked a bit on the script for the next video. Although I am a bit tired. I went to bed late last night, and a pigeon landed right outside my window. It was making a lot of noise. Sometimes they land there and they'll make noise for a bit, for like 2 minutes, and then they fly away, or they stop. But there's this one, it'll land there and just like keep making this cooing noise, like it just coos as fast as possible over and over and over again until I'm like really awake. So I had to get up and like open the window and scare it so it would go away. He wants you to dominate the world faster. Yeah, I think it must be a sign. Pigeon was trying to tell you something. Yeah, it's like, get up, get out of bed. You're lazy, get to work. Oh, that's why. It's testing the wrong thing. Here we go. Find a cafe that accepts Bitcoin payments. So I'm going to try it out. Interesting. This is one of the first times I think I've ever seen someone in chat mention someone. Actually, this may even be the first time in my entire life when I've heard someone casually say that they're going to actually use crypto to pay for something in like actual commerce, like real, economic GDP, instead of like, I'm going to make a crypto gambling stealing platform. I know I'm a nerd. Well, actually, I mean, going out to a cafe, that's honestly like the most non-nerdy use of Bitcoin that I've seen. Like when people always try to pitch me that like, oh, cryptocurrency is the next big thing. But then I always ask, like, when have you ever heard of anyone use Bitcoin or some cryptocurrency for something that was not like just pure like speculation, number go up speculation, or something to do with like gambling or fraud or so I guess that's something, a bit of positive hope for all the Bitcoin positive people, that there's actually some person that used it for a useful purpose. There's a website that has a map of places to spend BTC at. Oh, okay. How many is there? Is this for like for? Is it like a worldwide map, or is it just for like the Bay Area? Or? Worldwide. How many? Does it have a lot of places on it? I'm curious. Like, let's say like in San Francisco, how many places are there? Or actually, San Francisco is weird. How about Toronto? How many places are there? Does it say in Toronto where you can actually use Bitcoin? I'd assume a lot of them too were just like, they just immediately converted to dollars at the spot price. All right, I think that's it for the test cases for the rightmost boundary expansion. About 80 in Vancouver. Interesting. So that's like any type of business at all? I think just any business that accepts BTC. See, data recovery business, for example. Yeah, I remember back in 2014 or so. That was when the first Bitcoin wave, 13, 14. I remember all these online computer parts company. People were buying video cards and stuff with crypto, and all these companies were rushing to accept Bitcoin. And then after it kind of crashed and people forgot about Bitcoin, then they kind of slowly got rid of a lot of them. About 20 in Toronto. Huh. It's really not. It's not that many. I guess that'll be a fun novelty. You're one of the very few people in the world to actually use Bitcoin for commerce. I remember back when it was all the rage, reading some Reddit thread about here's my actual story of using Bitcoin to buy something in a store. I think he said he was on a date, and he went to a restaurant, and then he went to pay for it, and then so they had whatever payment system for the Bitcoin, and it took a long, as part of the system, it took 30 minutes for the transaction to finalize, because when you do a transaction, it has to you have to mine new blocks onto the chain. I'm sure nowadays they probably make it, payment processors probably just take that risk and then do the transaction instantly and then eat that into the fee. So we went on this date and then paid for it, and then they're like, oh, it can take a while. And then they're waiting to pay, and then later they found out that maybe the story was even made up, that he paid they had a QR code in the restaurant that he sent the payment to, and someone had pasted over the QR code, so he sent the Bitcoin to some random address, and then lost the money. I think a lot of people are transacting with crypto, just that the investing, trading aspect is a lot more interesting. Yeah, the prospect of making those huge gains is very enticing. Robert, how do I download an OPSEC? I guess you just have to Google it and then click on. If you see one of those flashing buttons that's shaking and making all these colorful things, it says download now. That's probably what you have to click on. Thank you. I'm going to do that right now. Excellent. I think that's the best OPSEC strategy. Just to click on download now buttons. If you get stuck, try asking one of the hot single women in your area. That's always a good strategy. And it's a great way to meet new people while you're at it. You can make new friends who are also interested in OPSEC. Is this function going to be the same? I think it's going to be similar enough that I can make these identical. Good news and bad news. Good news, I downloaded an OPSEC. Bad news is there is now a purple monkey on my desktop. Ask me questions. Well, that might be good. Maybe he's friendly. Must be one of those local LLMs I keep hearing about. What happens when you give him credit card information? That's a good idea. You might get a prize. All right, let's add more test cases. I already put that in. This will make online shopping 10 times easier. OPSEC success. Yeah. By the way, Robert, if you thought of doing a pirate software stream, when you do nothing but talk about working in a company for 7 years, staring at code, working on it, I haven't really. I know that there is pirate software drama. I honestly have not followed it at all. I guess I can kind of understand why people like he sounds a bit arrogant or something, but I guess I'm not super deep enough into the lore to really to really understand the drama. I know something about like he let some people down in a hardcore World of Warcraft thing, and their hardcore characters died. But it's I don't know. I feel like I got more important thing. I think it is good that there's a lot of people in the world now who care about computer programmer drama. Because the alternative is we could have like celebrity gossip drama, but if people are talking about drama related to computer programmers, then people will think about computer programming and how to critique code. Have you seen the source code for this game? People are saying it's coded worse than Undertale. I saw there was one video someone had about like a test case or something. I don't know if does he have a lot of code that's public? I thought he had like someone found like one little code snippet and they were critiquing it. And I thought like, I think the critique was like, it seemed like an appropriate critique for like first year computer science students. But some of us also, like, I'm sure if you applied the same level of critiquing, there's probably a ton of stuff in my code you could say like, this is bad, you should do it a better way. But there's a lot of code that I have that's like very bad code, and the way I plan to improve the code is to completely delete it and replace it with a better system eventually. You earned the criticism he's getting after being so impolite to Ross. Ross, I'm not sure who Ross is in this interaction. Like I said, I've seen some. I followed enough of the like titles and thumbnails that get recommended to me to know that there is some drama, but. And I mean, people go crazy with that stuff. There's like everyone's doing these like 30-minute long rants on like pirate software did this thing. And I don't have time to watch all that stuff. Matters most with code is if it works, it works. Yeah, that's that's one way to measure it for sure. I mean, optimizing code is it's a multivariate problem. You can always it's very easy to say you can make it better, but then you have to take the time to make it better. like my screen layer merging code is terrible, and I'm taking the time to improve it now, and it just keeps dragging on and on and on. So now I'm writing all these test cases to make sure it works correctly. And all right, I think that'll work. Coding Jesus on YouTube critiqued. Yeah, actually, I think that's the one video I did watch of it, and he was critiquing, like, I don't know, some variables and stuff. And I'm like, I would probably write similar code. Accused farms, accursed farms. Set up the Stop Killing Games initiative. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, if you want to accuse people playing like 5D chess, that drama successfully made the whole thing get a lot more of attention. So, I mean, in that respect, it had a positive outcome. I like to take the letter advice and ask the hot single women in my area about problems I have. It's a good idea. The best way to make new friends. Multi-dimensional arrays. Feeling sorry for you right now. So it's not too bad. I'm just building the simplest possible test cases to make sure I've got the behavior down pat. The purpose of this overall refactoring arc for the last 20 days I've been working on is a code for merging together layers of character, multi-dimensional, multi-column characters, merging together multiple layers that can have arbitrary X and Y displacements, and the layers can be arbitrary sizes, and they can have multi-column characters. And also they come along with changed regions, so that when it's optimized, so when for example, when there's a tiny area of the screen that updates, it only checks and iterates over that small area, and it doesn't loop over the entire array. And there's some change flags and active states and stuff like that to keep it fast. And then some other weird rules, like I have I can inherit a background color for a character. So that's a feature that became particularly relevant when I changed the blob character to be an actual emoji. So when printing this emoji, and in order to not have that constant black green background that you see right there, make it basically look like it's moving over top of whatever features. There's actually a layer. The character itself is in a totally separate layer, and then it gets merged down onto the map area layer, which is below it, and it just inherits whatever background color. So then, if there's no ANSI color codes, if the size of ANSI color codes is 0, it just takes the topmost color. And having that feature in a separate layer, and using this approach, I can easily add, if I want to have 50 entities on screen or something, I can just have them in a totally separate layer. And then later I'd kind of maybe even like to add debugging features or something. Maybe I could make it a runtime, so you could select and deselect which layers are active, and then make it easier to debug. I have something you might be able to do if you can recreate the deprecated multi-bit wallet from prior to 0.5.16, so I can restore my wallet. You mentioned something about that before. There was some is that lost wallet thing? You said there was some famous lost wallet or lost private key or something. Is that a 2D array? I was working on my game, doing that to make the maps modular in a separate script, so I could fill ones or zeros where ones were walls. Yeah, it is. All of the screen layers are 2D arrays. 2D arrays of cells. And the world itself is 3D. But of course, to represent it, it gets squashed down to 2D. Malformed AES CPC cipher mishandled character arrays. A key with no padding. I don't know. That sounds like a perfect like nerd sniping problem. But I don't know. That sounds like the type of problem that I could get very engrossed in and waste a lot of time on, and then never solve it. It sounds like you probably have a lot more prior information and understanding than I do. So, based on your knowledge of the problem and your expertise, you're probably better equipped to solve that than I am. I mean, let's see if that works. Thing is, the old wallet is built in Java, and the libraries are deprecated, so unable to simply be installed from Package Manager. Look into it when you have spare time. I'm sure you can provide some insight. GitHub multi-bit issue number 620. Well, so is this like? I think you mentioned before there's some well-known. I had never heard of it before. Some well-known wallet with a bunch of stuff in it. Is this that same thing you were talking about before? I would assume if it's easy to do this, someone else has already. Like if it was simple to get it, it's just like bug bounties. Like bug bounties they're easy. It's a super easy way to make $1 million. Just find 3 0-day privilege escalations and then totally compromise an iPhone. You're back from drinking milk. That took quite a while. That must have been a lot of milk. Correct. Same thing. It's not easy, unfortunately. I've attempted multiple methods. I'm sure if someone can recreate the wallet that caused the issues, they'd be able to recover it. Yeah, I mean that's key. If it's if there's more than a few people that know about it, like I'm sure, for a $30,000 bounty, I'm sure some intelligent people have tried. And I don't know, maybe there's some like simple insight, but I only have a limited amount of time to waste on things. Oh, it should be minus. Nice. Even went as far as mapping the entropy on our torus, which showed correct byte alignment. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing that kind of thing, you're already ahead of me. Problem is, I think it's a bit shifted or a bit flipped. I attempted Dijkstra algro with bit flipping. Yeah, I mean, you're already in territory. I would, if you told me to use Dijkstra to try and brute force this thing, I'd be like, I don't know how to do that. I have to like go watch. I'd have to go like watch a semester of lectures on crypto and linear Diophantine equations and orthogonal diagonalization and all that, you know, linear algebra stuff. The Euler-Toytent function. Let me ask you a hypothetical. The decoded base 64 returns the open SSL key, which has no padding. What would be the correct approach? Attempting to realign the entropy and apply padding itself, or does it really help that I have a limited amount of characters in chat? Decoded base 64 returns open SSL key which has no padding. I don't know. I know. So the most of all these crypto coins. So I guess it's a Bitcoin thing. So every crypto thing can use its own different form of public key cryptography. I don't know what Bitcoin uses. Probably like the standard, what is it, RSA or whatever. I don't know the exact algorithm. And when you say the OpenSSL key, I don't know if we're talking about a public or a private key there. So I don't know enough about what approach we're talking about, and if it's not padded. So I guess if you're saying, like I know when if you SHA-256 something, you're supposed to pad the message with like zeros or whatever. And so it sounds like we're talking about a hypothetical case where it's not padded and there's some like random gibberish in there in where the padding would have been, and then protobuf based using SecP curve. I do know they'd up and put up MD5 with one iteration. It's possible I may be able to brute force it, but not if the entropy is misaligned. Padding is 0606. Yeah, actually, as a protobuf, I don't even know what that is. I'd have to Google it and the SecP curve. I remember, like, I did a course on this where we did like RSA cryptography on the chalkboard with like you choose an E and a D and stuff, and then go through the algorithm. And I remember the Euler-Toitian function was involved in there. So that was like public key cryptography with, numbers that are less than 1,000. And of course, it just generalizes. But other than that, that's about my extent of knowledge on this crypto stuff. It's super interesting, but once again, it's one of those like highly academic things where you can go into like math research on this, and then you end up as a homeless mathematician. You'll end up, if I studied this more, I'd become just like that mathematician that won the, Fields Medal, and he lives with his mom, and he refused to accept the medal. All goods, appreciate it anyhow. Probably keep putting in a few hours per month on it. Getting printable characters, so it's possible I'm close. Yeah, I mean it's an interesting nerd sniping problem. If you figure it out, that would make for like a great Hacker News post. I'm sure you could probably make a lot of money making a YouTube video about how you. That's at least 1 million views. I get why he would refuse the medal, but why wouldn't he take the $1 million? Yeah, I seem to remember he didn't. He also didn't take the $1 million. I don't know if I can't remember exactly if he did or not, but that's such an insane thing to do, to be like so brilliant at math that you're like, you live with your 90-year-old mom and refuse $1 million prize for like your genius. How'd you learn coding and computer science? I learned a bunch of it before I went to university, just like practicing on my own. But then I got a degree in software engineering at the University of Waterloo, and I learned a lot about how to build highly scalable software. Wikipedia says he considered his work toward the problem to be no greater than a particular other person. Okay, so he thought someone else deserved it. They should have allowed him to hand it off to him. Odd question, but I hear that in Canada you can't refer to yourself as an engineer in computing without a degree. Oh yeah, actually that was the other drama thing about Mudahar, who's I guess here in Canada. He referred to himself as an engineer, and there was another drama thing recently. So the here in Canada specifically, I think it's different. It is I think it's true in all provinces in Canada. But I'll talk about the specific jurisdiction of Ontario. So in Ontario, if you were to say something like, hello, I am licensed to practice engineering. If you say that, you are legally required to have you're required to be registered with the Professional Engineers of Ontario and have a registration number as a professional engineer. And the requirements for being, like if you say, I'm an engineering consultant, I'm an expert engineer, or like to be able to testify in court, to provide expert witness testimony, you have to have the engineering designation. And to qualify for that, the qualifications are you need to have graduated from an accredited, an undergraduate degree that's accredited, that can be works toward the accreditation for PEng. And there's I don't know, it's not every school. Like there's, you can, if you get like a diploma or something, like there's some, information technology tech support or something, he's probably not going to qualify if it's some, strip mall diploma. But like a University of Waterloo, like software engineering degree, is recognized as counting toward the PEng. And you also need, in addition to that, you have to have, I think it's two, I can't remember the exact number, I think it's 2 years of work experience working under another professional engineer in that with relevant work experience in that field. And at my university, specifically Waterloo, the undergraduate program there allowed us to, if we graduated from co-op and with the 2 years of job experience from our co-ops, then they would reduce that requirement down by half. So I think we need like 2 years working under a professional engineer. But if we did all these internships, then even though they're not supervised under a professional engineer, then we only need 1 year of qualified, professional engineer experience. So, and then the final requirement is you have to take an ethics examination at PEng. So you and then you also pay $200 or something to get your license. You got to renew it every year and stuff. And then once you do that stuff, then then you can say, hello, I am licensed to practice engineering. And now, having said all that, so I graduated from an accredited degree program. I did all my co-ops, but if I wanted to pursue that and be able to call myself an engineer, I would have to, what I have not done is work at a job under another licensed professional engineer, which in software engineering is actually quite rare, because like if you're in civil engineering or something, pretty much every civil engineer probably would go down the PEng path because it's actually relevant and necessary. But a very large percentage of people, like in my class, would just go into they'd be a web dev at Amazon or something. So very few of those people would actually get a professional engineering certification because it doesn't even matter. Now, having said all this, it is extremely common. Like if you go right now on Indeed.com and type in software engineer, basically all of those positions do not require that you'll be certified as a PEng. And so like in my position, I cannot say that I'm a licensed engineer, but on my degree itself says, I think it's Bachelor of Science Software Engineering. So it says engineering on my degree. And I went to the Iron Ring ceremony and did the engineers, whatever, this secret engineering ceremony and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, that's the long way to answer your question. I need a web app idea, something that fills an unmet demand. I don't know. There's tons of things you can do, but whether they're worth it is questionable. There's tons of apps that you can make that'll be a waste of time. Smoked a bit, but gotta head out. See you later. The Moonar thing I didn't see until now. It's sillier than the pirate software drama. Oh well, I think that's good. That there's internet drama about like something that is more relevant than celebrity gossip. Just hit join on channel without member. Would this cost money? I assume probably if you hit the join button, it'll probably like prompt you and be like, put in your credit card information. But you could just ignore it. Joining as a channel member, it's like a paid thing. So if I go to Canada with all my skill and history, I can't say I'm a software engineer. I would say for the most part, you in practice you would. It's kind of weird because in common practice, pretty much everyone who's a software engineer will say I'm a software engineer here. But I think where you would actually get yourself into trouble is, or even like if you graduated from civil engineering, you could say I'm a civil engineer because your degree literally says on your diploma, the piece of paper you got, that you're a civil engineer. But the where you'd really get into trouble is if you misrepresent. So if you try to specifically if you try to sell consulting services related to engineering, so if you anything close touching like on expert witness testimony, expert engineering opinions or something, because the job title is just a title. You could a software engineer, you could apply for a marketing job, and then if you get the job, you're not necessarily a professional marketer. You're just someone who applied for a different job. I would think some subset, like for example, if you write medical software, I would assume in certain domains and for like safety critical stuff, they probably would, as a condition of employment, they would require that you be eligible to be a PN or on that track or something, because as part of whatever they're doing, they probably require that you have that certification, and then you'd be in trouble if you misrepresent and say like, oh yes, I'm PN certified, and they'd be like, okay, what's your PN number? And then you'd say, I forgot, and then you'd get in trouble. To be honest, I need to find a way of pulling in 6.5K USD a month. I'm kind of stumped. Making AI APIs and whatnot. Nothing is sticking. Well, that's why, you can grind away at that Bitcoin wallet, but there's tons of stuff like that to waste your time on. You could become a live streamer. You could live stream trying to break into that wallet. For some reason I hit join and it didn't charge me. I guess if it did, I would maybe question if I don't know if Google like saves your payment information or something. Like maybe you joined someone else's channel and you already gave your payment information, so it's gonna like secretly charge you. Did you select a membership tier? Like there's student member, and favorite member. And if you didn't select a membership tier, maybe I don't know. Like if it says you're a channel member, then I would assume it's probably charging you money somehow. I don't know. I'm not aware of like a free membership tier. So yeah, I guess if you might want to just double check that to make sure it's not charging you. Pirate software and Muda are just dogpiling drama. What little I looked at didn't have real value. It's programming commentary. I think it's good to like for people who don't know about that stuff. Regulate mechanical. Yeah, it's spam. I was classified as an expert witness in a lawsuit with no degree or certification, based on the fact that I practiced as a software and internet networking engineer. Yeah, I think the like, you know, you can whether you're an expert witness or not could be like qualitatively decided by the court, I guess, as long as you just say like, yeah, I've been doing this for like forever and I have all this experience. But the place you get into trouble is if you say, yes, I am certified by the Ontario Professional Board of Engineers, and then they say, okay, what's your certification number? I don't know, I forgot. I'll be back. I need to get air compressor and blow out my keyboard. Keyboard cleaning is challenging. I didn't see no membership tier or anything. I just hit join in order to talk and chat. Okay, but I don't see myself as a channel member. Don't know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the join was just to join the live stream or something. I'm not sure where that interface comes from. Might have gotten a gift sub. Oh yes, that might be it. Yes, last night. Yeah, actually that would make sense. Because the last night, someone came into the chat and gave out like 50 gifted subs, and there's only 20 people here. So that means that there's like 30 people who got a gifted membership who were like offline. So the way a gifted membership works is you'll see no ad. You're for like 1 month you're a member, and I think it puts you on the member tier, so the middle tier, and then after the month is up, the gifted membership expires. And I also checked if once a gifted membership expires, it does not charge you any money. It's just a one for whatever period of time it's on. So it's a free for 1 month. You don't have to watch any ads on my channel. Hi Robert in chat. How's it going? 5360. 556 360. Bog and swamp. You smart. Yes, that does make sense. I think that's likely what occurred. And if you want to know for sure, if you check the live stream VOD from last night, it was near the end of the night. I think it was maybe, I don't know, probably like 3 hours into it. Look for a time in the chat window when there was a ton of gifted memberships given out. And then if you look through that list, if you see your name as one of the people who received a gifted membership, then that confirms the theory that you received a gifted membership. Wouldn't there be an icon for them too? Oh yes, that's a good point. If you are a member, there would be an icon. So like Game Dev Chad, he's a member channel. He got one of the gifted memberships, and you would have an icon by your name. It's just like his, and your name would appear in green. But you don't have one. I don't know. Maybe it takes some time to update or something. Or maybe you did get a gifted membership, but you didn't like accept it or something yet. Do you have a Discord right now? I tried to join the Discord, but it showed up as invalid link. Oh yes. So the Discord, that is a trick. The bad link that you clicked on, the very last character of that link is a Z character. If you delete the Z, it'll take you to my official Discord, which is actually locked. But if you go there, you can find a link to the unofficial Discord. Where there's some other people that moderate there. So that's where people are chatting and stuff. All right, let's see if my test case works. Excellent. I don't want to accept membership. I don't want to debt collectors after me if I fail to make payment. Yeah, I guess if you don't, I guess the only real advantage is you get access to the community tab. You get like the icon thing that he has. I actually don't really have. There's not really a lot of perks to being a member. It's kind of just another way for me to raise revenue. I do have some. There are some posts. Well, like when I posted about the Discord and stuff, I posted that to there. But you can also. You don't even need to become a member to get in. Now I'm pretty sure if you accept the membership, I'm pretty sure it will not charge you anything. It shouldn't. If it does, if you do get charged for something, I would be interested to know about that, because it's part of my it's part of my job description to know what like people are being charged by engaging with certain things. That would be kind of an awful move by Google to allow people to gift a liability to someone else. But I have seen before. I have someone gave a whole bunch of gifted memberships once, and then I noticed in my memberships, like after those, someone gave, I think might have been 50 before, and then they all expired. So like my memberships dropped down by like 50 in one day because they all expired at once. shouldn't have worked. Used Discord often. I try not to use it. There were, I don't know, those kinds of chat applications seem to bring out the worst in people sometimes. So sometimes there's like people don't like each other and stuff. I try to since I'm linked to it, or like I have a reference to it, I do try to keep an eye on make sure there's nothing crazy going on there. I think it would be kind of nice if there was more people having interesting discussions and stuff there right now. But I guess it's basically like random internet people, so I don't. So far, there's some interesting conversations about tech and stuff I'm pretty aligned with. I try to if I see stuff that I like there, I try to just like it and resist the temptation to get bogged down in the discussion, because I think ultimately what people want is videos and want me to produce the other things that I'm producing rather than chatting in Discord. Unfortunately, that aside, I got interested in your channel because of the video where you explained the entire process of making the chip. Yeah, I think there's probably lots of people there who are, if you spark up a conversation about how to manufacture CPUs, there's probably at least a few people there who will chime in. So this is not taking into account the layer offsets. So that should fail. That's not expected. mouse keyboard and mechanical keyboards don't mix. I would imagine they would not. Can I ask you, like anything, there's a saying that there's no such thing as a dumb question. But I have a dumb question. I'm sure you can throw it out there. I may or may not have a satisfactory response. Better stop procrastinating. Have a good day. Have a good night. Anonymous us. Oh yeah. I think you mentioned that before. So I guess it is day. Have a good day. Are you like very experienced in tech stuff? And was like a former experienced contractor? Have you thought about going to America and running your company there? If you want to know my full history, I have a lot of videos on it. If you watch my How to Become a 37-Year-Old Broke Loser video, that has lots of details on where I worked and stuff. I have a video on my time working at NVIDIA, my internship, and a video. The main reason why I did not go to the States, I wanted to start a business, but to start, you can't just like go down to the States and like say like I'm starting a business. You need a visa sponsorship or something, and to start a startup. There are like startup visas, but you have to do that in coordination with you have to get like a venture capitalist involved, and then you do like a Y Combinator or something, and then they have lawyers and stuff that know all about immigration, and they would help you get into the country, and help handle some of the costs. But if you want to like bootstrap a company, like if I wanted to start a consulting business, which is what I originally started, that's not realistic without I can't just like walk into the States and do that. I mean, in hindsight, the best thing would have been to, after I graduated, would be immediately leave Canada and go work at one of the big tech firms. I would have done better. But most of that, of course, would have been from stock options. Rather than, the salary would have been good, better than Canada. But now I'm stuck here, and the job market. This is the worst possible time to get back into the tech market. Smarter than all my former classmates. There's just so much gatekeeping in tech, and it's just your experience could probably get you into a decent American university, Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I could get into a university, but why would I want to go to university? I'm just signing up to pay more money. I believe you can do a PhD or master's in electrical in the future. Nope. I'm gonna stay far away from that nonsense. PhD academia is not what it used to be. Doesn't need anything else for us or for USA. I have some momentum on what I'm doing right now, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and try to build that up. So that there doesn't need to have an offset. Maybe that's what I wanted to set the placement offsets. There we go. If you work as a TA, you get benefits and salary. A lot of professors and the like start their companies, universities. Most people right now are doing academia. I already was a professor at a local college for a little while. It was didn't pay very well. I could have pursued like full-time tenure and stuff like that, but with the way things were going, it really seemed did not seem particularly ripe for growth or stability. In the college, actually, they started. We fortunately started slowing down on immigration, so almost all of the students were international students there. And I think a whole bunch of, I mean, it took longer for it to collapse than I thought it would, but they did lay off a whole bunch of people, or professors. I mean, it probably would have been more stable for a while, but it's hard to find. It's not just about scraping by to get a couple extra $1,000 a month. I'm hoping to. I have bigger goals. All right, so we got a bit more work done tonight. I think I may have almost finished this layer expansion feature. So now that I have that, I can start incorporating that into the test cases in the overall algorithm. That solves one of the really nasty corner cases. So I'll merge that in for tomorrow, and then I guess we'll pick things up tomorrow for day 110. All right, that's it for tonight. See you guys tomorrow.